All right, so it is the end of October at the time of recording this. It is October 26th, according to my computer, and we are a handful of days away from November. And November, for anyone who's been in the writing community for a while, we know this, but for anyone who's new to it, first of all, welcome. But November is like the Super Bowl of writing challenges. It used to be just completely dominated by something called National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, which was an organization that has since just not it has gone by the wayside. And there's tons of people who dissected its ending. And I would highly recommend, if you want to, you check out that if you're curious. I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about instead how you can take advantage of your November and make it turbocharged and successful and have your word count tracker just filled up to the brim of your great progress. Now, there are tons of writing challenges going on this November. A quick Google search and it will bring up so many. The one that I really like is by Sarah Cannon. I really just like Sarah Cannon in general. She is a gem of a human. She knows her stuff and she's fantastic. But there's tons more, and I'm sure they are just as good and they're going to treat you just fine. But do your research, make sure it's one that you like, and you can also make your own. Like get together with some friends, your writing buddies, and say, let's do something this November and make it fun, make it interesting, do your thing. Now, this video, I want to talk about how you can actually get into the locked in mindset of making sure that you are writing and consistent and focused during this next month. And I'm going to break it down with two very powerful steps. The first step is that I kind of just said it. You don't do it alone. There is true science behind doing something with a group. There was a study that came out, and actually it was about people who were running up a hill, or like they were, I don't know if they were running up a hill, but they had to climb this hill. And psychologically, the people who had a friend, they looked at the same hill as the people who just were going at it alone, and to them it felt less steep. It felt more doable. And then if you look at something else, there was a really interesting video. It's on YouTube actually, and I'll link it below. Um, it's about I think it happened in London or something. I don't remember exactly where, but you can watch the video. And there was a subway staircase, and then beside the staircase was the escalator. And almost everybody took the escalator up to the main street from the subway because why wouldn't you? There were a lot of stairs. I think in my memory, I mean, there had to be more than 50 steps. There were a lot of stairs. However, overnight, this experiment painted the steps or somehow like activated them so they were like piano keys. Every step was like a piano key that actually made a noise. And I think it even lit up. Like it was really cool, but I haven't watched the video in a few months, so you'll have to tell me if it actually lights up. But I know it made sound. When people came out from their commute and they had to go up to the street, guess what? More people actually went up the stairs than they did the escalator because they realized, oh my goodness, these steps are really fun. I can make music. I'm like Tom Hanks and Big. And so they made a task that was tedious, difficult, boring, and they somehow made it interesting and fun. And more people climbed up, and it became like this almost community bit of joy. And so you turned something that could be monotonous into something that now was full of fun. So that's the first step. I need you to find the group that you want to be in. And if you can't find that group, I want you to make one. Seriously, tap your best friend on the shoulder, go to your writer besties, go to the people who you've DM'd online and say, hey, I don't know if you're already doing this somewhere else, but if not, would you like to link together and make a little November writing month group? We'll check in, maybe you can gamify it, add some fun little twists here and there. I have a ton of ideas for gamifying things, by the way. I should make another video about that, but there's so many ways you can gamify. You can have, if you want to do something like the person who reaches their goal first, maybe gets something, or, you know, you could do something like just sprint days. Just literally set aside every, let's say, Saturday for the first 2 hours in the morning or first 1 hour in the morning. Then you link up and you sprint together and you can just have fun with it. You can have little, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but mukbang, something, where you're just on Zoom and you're eating your food and you're talking and you're typing. And it just brings in a sense of community. It's bringing in people who, as you look at this hill where you're like, I want to try to write 50,000 words this month, and that could look like a very steep hill. Now you have people with you at the bottom who want to go on the journey too, and suddenly it just doesn't seem as steep. So, step number one, it's powerful, it's great. I have written in a vacuum and I have written with friends. And hands down, when I write with friends, I'm more focused, I'm more locked in, and I always write more words. Maybe, and I don't have too much of a competitive streak in me, but there's something about like knowing other people are with me. I want to bring a word count when I check in. So it definitely is something that helps. Number two, and this one is going to be a little more advanced, but when you are in the month, when you're actually typing and you're trying to get that word count up and you're drafting your heart, I want you to understand and repeatedly tell yourself this is a process. It's not actually an indication of me. What do I mean by that? When you can say that this is a process, what happens is that if you miss a day, or if you have a day and you just, instead of writing your allotted 1,600 words, you only write 600, it's very easy to turn that inward and say, I failed. I didn't do it. I suck. And then you start going down that spiral. And then it's just like, it's so hard to get out of because it takes so much energy. It's like a rocket ship leaving Earth. The most energy you're ever going to use is for that rocket ship to leave Earth's orbit, Earth's atmosphere, I mean, because the gravitational pull, it needs so much energy. And so getting out of a spiral like that of I'm failing, I didn't do it, everyone is ahead of me. I mean, that's going to push you down, 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 and it's going to get harder to come up from it. Instead, what you can say is this was a process, and the process actually didn't work today. What can I do tomorrow to make it better? Let me put this in like an actual example because this just happened to me. I woke up just a few days ago and I laid in bed because it was cold and I didn't want to get out of bed where it was comfy and warm. And I literally scrolled my phone for an hour. Like an hour just went by. I didn't realize an hour was going by. It just went by. And then I finally got up. I tried to do some work. But then I was like, no, I'm hungry. And so I ate something. But I turned on some YouTube while I was eating just so then I wasn't staring at a wall. And a couple more hours pass. And then I finally sit down to try to do some work. And I found myself completely just unable to focus. It took so much energy and a huge call with my writing bestie to finally get me back in focus. And even then, what I wanted to accomplish that day, I had my list. I accomplished point 0.5 of the first item. Why did this occur? Because the process of that day sucked. Don't scroll on your phone for an hour. Don't watch YouTube videos for like another hour. Don't get all discombobulated at the start and then expect to come in with a full cognitive fuel tank, your brain power to do deep work when it's already like 1 in the afternoon. For me, deep work occurs in the morning. I know myself by now. I've been doing this a long time and I know my best work, my deepest work always happens in the morning. So I could have berated myself, and previously I've done so. You suck. You're not cut out for this. You're such an idiot. But that never did anything positive for me. It never made me feel like, yeah, let's, I got what it takes. Let's keep going. Like, no, it made me feel like, yeah, you're right. I don't have what it takes. I need to quit everything. I need to go live in a cave somewhere. Instead, I flipped the switch in my head and I was like, okay, the process of that day sucked. And when it's a process, you can fix it. When it's a process, you can evaluate, analyze, and say, what didn't work and what can I change? Do you see how that gives you back control? It maintains your self esteem. It doesn't berate you or shame you because those things are not going to make you any more willing to write or be more creative. Like, shaming yourself with a big shame hammer is not gonna it's not accountability. It's not noble. It's not anything except pushing you down further into a spiral, like Ariel. Like, I reference this all the time. In the animated Little Mermaid, at the end, Ursula makes that big, like cyclone or vortex thing, and Ariel gets stuck at the very bottom. And she's just looking up at Ursula, and as a viewer, you're just like, how the heck is she gonna get out of this? Like, there's not even water there. What's she gonna do? And so that's always what I imagine when people just berate and berate and berate themselves. It's like, man, you're putting yourself at the bottom of that spiral, and it's gonna be monstrously hard to get out of it and get in tempo again. So don't do that to yourself. Instead, just look at the process of that day and say, what can I fix? What didn't I do? What do I need to do more of? Like, if you had a great writing day and instead of writing 1,600 words, you wrote 3,600 words, do the same thing. Remove yourself from it, as in, I did great today. And you can give yourself credit, but also be like, this process really worked today. And conversely, it's not, I suck, I'm not cut out for it. It's like, oh, this process did not work today. What can I do to fix it? So, those two things, having people in your corner on the journey, and then understanding it's not you, it's a process of writing consistently for 30 days in November to get to whatever your word count is, 30,000, 50,000, 80,000, whatever that is. It's fully going to be about your process. It is not about who you are, how talented you are. It's none of those things. When you're doing something like this, it truly is about how you show up, when you show up, where you show up, and why you show up. And in fact, maybe I'll make a video detailing those things because I've helped a lot of writers get in sync with their writing process, with momentum. And I have some tricks up my sleeve for that too. So if you're interested, how about watch the next video? I will record that one right now. Gotta love the batch recording. And I will see you in the next video. You can also, if you're interested in really just like joining a great group, I have one as well. So I will leave the link below in the description, and I would love to have you come in. And all right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.